Made a bet the other day, my brother. Knicks and foe.
This is the way.
Pay my taxes on time as well.
This is the way.
Predicting that the Mets are going to win the World Series.
This is the way.
Rocking my Imperial Park t-shirt today.
This is the way.
And we're going to cover the Mandalorian and Grogu today.
My brother, this is the way.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this installment of the After the Opening Credits podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss, Hugo got next, joined by my illustrious co-host.
It's your boy, Ray Boogie Kahuna. And just like my brother just mentioned, we are breaking down Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. This is the way. But before we get into any of that,
like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast. Like always, you can catch the cast on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and iHeartRadio, you already know. And just to jump right into the movie, what are some of your general thoughts on this film, my brother, and what did you like?
Well, I like to keep my expectations low when I walk into any film that I watch. And, walking out of this, I genuinely enjoyed this film. I think it hits the check mark when it comes to being that quintessential blockbuster summer film. I think it's a solid action adventure. It's high paced. It's visually stunning, particularly when it comes to the action sequences. It's fun. It's charming. It's even got certain spots where you genuinely can laugh out loud. I think it's one of those films that's, great for all ages. And I didn't regret watching this in the theater.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think that the CGI particularly was used very appropriately at all levels of this film, particularly on the action sequences. I also want to credit Disney for being consistent with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and bringing them back into this project. I also have to give credit to them for sticking with the animatronics, sticking with the practical effects, and using puppetry, particularly for our friend Grogu here throughout the film.
Yeah, listen, I'm a sucker for practical effects, and I know this can be a bit of a hot button topic when it comes to, using animatronics, particularly with Grogu. It can look a little off-putting, but I think the blend of the practical effects and the CGI kind of gives Star Wars in general that charm, that old school charm. They still remember their roots.
Correct. And speaking of hot button topics here, what are some of the dislikes that you had about this film?
Well, yeah, this can be a bit of a hot topic, a hot button topic, but fun doesn't necessarily equal good. This movie is fun. I wouldn't necessarily say this movie is great. It does have its faults, and it does have, some glaring faults, in my opinion. Now, there are times where, you can see the budget, right? You can see, okay, this is where the money went. Now, that's mainly in the action sequences. There are some parts, some set pieces in particular, the budget was definitely lacking, and it definitely felt a little made for TV. Another issue that I have is the plot. It ain't that complicated. And unfortunately, I wish it was. The plot feels thin. The plot feels safe. There isn't any kind of complexities to it. Here's your heroes. Here's a mission. Mission goes awry. The protagonist hit a low point. How can they ever recover? Oh, but they recover. And then bam, they win at the end. It's, it's not that deep. And unfortunately, I was expecting just a little more, considering this is a, theatrical release. It's not a, Disney special. But unfortunately, sometimes it does feel like a Disney special. The movie in general kind of feels like a whole bunch of episodes that were stitched together. Now, to give credit what credit's due, they are stitched pretty nicely. But I can't help but feel sometimes when I was watching it that I was kind of going through episodes. And the last negative that I have is, unfortunately, I feel like if you're looking for something deeper, if you're looking for this movie to be universe altering or groundbreaking in any sort of way for the Star Wars universe, this is not the movie you're looking for. Unfortunately, it doesn't involve the overarching narrative. There's no universe altering storytelling here. There's no major growth or development for any of the protagonists or any character. It just feels low stakes and safe, and it doesn't really add anything new or significant to the lore in general.
I couldn't have said it any better, my brother. And I was actually going to bring up the point that it didn't really advance the Star Wars universe in a forward direction. It's kind of its own standalone thing, which I think has its positives and negatives. But at the same time, hardcore Star Wars fans want to see how this ties to the bigger story, from The Force Awakens to Rogue One, all the way back to A New Hope. And on top of all that, some of the writing in this film really rubbed me the wrong way. It felt, to your word, safe. And I felt like it was almost lazy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, unfortunately, this film doesn't really provide any kind of world building and, doesn't really extend the universe in a positive or negative way. It kind of just exists. I did feel like the writing was weak in general. I think the writing was repetitive. I think some actors were, quote unquote sleepwalking through, some of their performances here. I also think that some of the interesting characters that did appear on screen got no kind of character development. So there was nothing really to latch onto outside of the two main protagonists. Ultimately, the film unfortunately sacrifices all of those things just to hyper focus on the action and the adventure.
Yeah, 100%. And just to throw it back over to you, my brother, how would you rate this film?
Well, like I mentioned before, fun doesn't equal good. I think you should manage your expectations when walking into this film. This film's appeal is going to depend on the audience. If you're just looking for some fun action, some fun adventure with some comedy sprinkled in the middle, I think this film's for you. But if you're looking for anything deeper than that, any kind of like universe altering storytelling that's gonna, move along the Star Wars universe in general, it just falls a bit short. I didn't necessarily regret watching this in a movie theater. I thought it was fun. It was fun to watch on the big screen, but I do have to take away some points. In a lot of ways, it did just feel like a prolonged Disney special. We just finished breaking down The Punisher not too long ago. I do feel like both do share a lot of commonalities, particularly the fact that I feel like both were really not necessary. I don't want to sound extremely disparaging. The way I kind of compare the two, or just compare the two properties in general, I'll put it in video game terms. Both this and The Punisher did feel like standalone DLC. Not essential to the main storyline, great to play, but ultimately, it's just DLC.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on all of your points here. I also want to emphasize that I think that this is a very good family film. I think this film is something you want to take your kids to and things of that nature. And if you're a Star Wars head, you're just going to watch it for the Lord no matter what. But to my brother's point, if you were looking for some world building or for something that connects to the bigger Star Wars universe, this is not going to be the film for you. With that said, I'm going to give this film 3.5 out of 5 dins for the hardcore audience because it doesn't connect to the bigger Star Wars universe and there's not really a lot of world building and it's kind of its own thing. But for the casual audience, because this is a family film and because I think this film does a great job at introducing you to the Mandalorian and Grogu, if you didn't watch the Disney Plus show, I will give this a 4 out of 5 dins because of that fact alone. It is a fun film. I think it delivers particularly to the casual audience, and I think it does a great job in connecting you with the two protagonists of this film. What do you think, my brother?
Well, for me, I'm in line with you. I'd say 3 dins out of 5 for people who are looking for something deeper. Unfortunately, it doesn't really deliver, but it's still a fun watch. And for those who don't really care and, want to watch the side mission that is this film, it's 4. Because it is fun. It's got a lot of action and it's got a lot of charm. It's got that Star Wars charm I don't think you'll regret watching. This is the way.
And you know what? And I think this is the way that we're going to end the podcast.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our review of Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. I hope you guys enjoyed. Got to toss it over to my brother. He's going to wrap it up for us.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, and TikTok.
If you enjoyed the visual portion of this podcast, like always, you can catch the main cast on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and iHeartRadio, you already know. See you for the next installment of this podcast, whatever film or show that it may be. But until then, we see the love coming in. Keep it coming. We love you guys. Holla at you guys. See you next time. May the force be with you. This is the way. Peace.